And good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another Real Estate Backstory. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker here at Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name is Bing Richardson, the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
We do the Real Estate Backstory every week where we kind of go over the comings and goings of things happening in the Atlanta real estate market. We want to kind of jump right into starting to talk about, I'm not sure I'd call it fallout from the NAR lawsuit, but what we are seeing is we are seeing some consumer trends and how that's really going. And, the very first thing we kind of want to highlight, at least what we're seeing at the brokerage level, that kind of stuff, is that the conversations that realtors and real estate professionals are having with the sellers really are, I don't know, I'm not sure easy is the right word, but understandable.
Correct.
Right? Agents are just finding it easy to talk to the sellers about compensation, about offering compensation. Should you not offer compensation? We were already having a lot of these conversations as part of our original listing agreements, as far as all that went anyway. Where we're seeing where the pushback is coming from is on the buyer side. And that's really kind of a big kick for us, is that we're seeing that on this buy side, it's because for the folks who are still trying to treat it like it was back in the day, they're having a hard time, or rather their buyers are having a hard time.
Meaning, what he meant by that is not having a true buyer consultation with a buyer prior to showing the home. So what happened is buyers are being led by agents and not knowing what a informed decisions may be. And so now with the new NAR, not necessarily fallout, but I look at it as an educational and also an embetterment of our clients, what we can do for them and what is our proposition value. And a lot of our clients, especially with the millennial Gen Zs, they're a lot more informed than our parents or our generation.
And they want to be informed.
And they want to be part of the process. So with the new lawsuit and the settlement, I feel like it's actually better for the consumer and better for our industry, as we should treat it as a profession and for professional services.
Right. So, basically the days of just like, hey, I'll meet you at the house and show you a house. Understand that those days are gone. We're going to have to meet with clients prior to showing them a property. And then that's our opportunity to be able to meet with them, discuss, like here's all the services we provide. Here's the value that we bring. These are the fees that we charge. This is how the whole process is working forward, kind of thing.
Not only that, this is
who
about
can cover the compensation.
Correct. But throughout this process, you should be able to build a relationship with your clients. Not only that, you make them a lot more informed of what their options are. So realtor, yes, in real estate profession, you do have to know what's going on in the market. You do have to know what the lenders are doing. You do have to know what is best for your clients overall based on their situation, because everybody's scenario is different.
Yeah.
Just because a loan type is the same does not mean the needs are the same.
Well, but why? Yeah, exactly. Please have a formal presentation that you're doing with all your clients. It's time for us to up our game with the buyers on this side. If you're not comfortable having these conversations, it's time to role play, to work with us, your brokers, that kind of stuff, until you feel very comfortable having these conversations. But seriously, if you'll just follow your buyer's presentation, the one that we have uploaded, it's got it set up for you where this isn't how, negotiating for you. These are the fees that I charge, and this is who can cover the commission, right?
And at the end of the day, just remember, it's about their needs. We know the process.
Yeah.
And for them, our process to them are foreign, and some of them just don't care. Some of them is about addressing their pain points and their needs.
Yeah.
And once you address that, things will go a lot easier and smoother for all parties involved.
So understand that, even though there's a lot of changes, a lot of things happening in our industry, there's still a lot of really, really positive things going on right now. We're seeing some great movement on interest rates. In addition to that, over the next 2 years.
Just give you some stats on what the needs are So for the next 2 years, this is very near future.
Yeah.
There's going to be 7 million newborn babies. Okay.
Yeah.
Out of that, that's going to be a demand for maybe larger homes.
Yeah. Yeah. When you get a baby, you definitely want more room.
And of
them
course,
cheerings make it rough on you. You got to spread out a little bit.
and of course, you're going to have about 3 million marriages. And unfortunately, out of that
half
3
of them
million,
are going to end in a divorce. Yeah.
Yes. But, it's not for, I hate to say this, but it is a need for either downsize, selling their home, or rentals.
Or maybe 2 sales.
Correct.
Right? Exactly.
So it's not always about sales, it's about addressing their needs as well.
Yeah.
So about 7 million people will turn 65 years old. I know when we turn a certain age, we decided stairs are no bueno for us anymore. So we moved to a ranch home and absolutely love it. So it can be upside or downside, just depends on what their demands, whether or not they have a large family that may be coming home. But think about the type of build of homes that there are available. 7 million.
4 million are passing away. 4 million are getting new jobs, and 50 million
job switches. So when you have that much job switches, guess what? The inventory is always moving.
Yeah. Because see, like right now, we're seeing some wonderful movement in interest rates at the same time. There's a lot of positive things going on. Anytime that we're in an election cycle, though, people tend to always be negative no matter what. We don't want you to be that way, because the good news is that housing payments have dropped to their lowest level
since January.
for the whole year kind of thing, right?
So take advantage of that. We always have said, marry the house and date the rate, because you can always refi.
Well, it's one thing. I mean, we're down to 6 in the low 6s, 6.25, 6.3, and 6.35. That kind of stuff is kind of where our interest rates are sitting right now, and that's just for overall. I mean, we're seeing some FHAs come in at 5.8, 5.9.
Absolutely.
So FHAs are coming in a little bit better than that is right now. So like these are all really good things for us to see kind of going on. The good news is that even though we've had so much. We're starting to see interest rates moving. The good news is that we know that it's been harder for our first-time buyers.
Absolutely.
Even though it's been tougher for our first-time buyers, that so far through this year, 37% of home purchase loans are by first-time buyers. That's still, that's a really significant number.
Strong.
Now it's down from where it was, but we're still. Please don't think that first-time buyers aren't in our marketplace right now. And with interest rates coming down, even more are going to be jumping into our marketplace.
And of course, when the interest rate was awesome in July 2020, we have 40% of first-time home buyer versus 37%.
But historically, it's been closer to 40%, 45%, at times 50%. So there's a ton of pent-up demand.
Well, the demand are based on the age of the folks, and also as well as the needs.
Yeah. So overall, we're seeing sales that are looking. Sales are ticking up. Sales are not ticking up massive. It depends on how you look at it on the scale. But generally speaking, like sales are up. For new home sales, it's up about 0.7, 0.8%. Existing home sales are up about 0.5 point, which is nothing necessarily to scream home about, except for it is up, right? And so anytime that we're up, that's really, really kind of good for us.
And yes, more homes are coming onto the market. So
right. And Ming is so right. That inventory level we're seeing and all those homes coming on the market, it is significantly up from where we were in 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. It's up really significantly from those years, and we're really, really pleased to see that. And so anytime we start talking about that, people start getting a little bit antsy, we're going to see this big change. Overall, we saw a big uptick in new listings, basically all year until now. Right now, we're actually flat with last year on new listings coming into the market, right? And so our sellers kind of jumped out there earlier this year, and then a lot of them have pulled back because it's not that seller's market that they thought it really was.
Well, it's no longer a 26% increase.
Yeah.
Now we're probably between 3 to 4% here in Atlanta market for the time being.
Yeah. Now, nationwide, we normally run about 1.2 million to 1.4 million on total active listings like pre-COVID. Now we've got about 900,000 listings nationwide, which is up from the 700 and 800,000 that we had just a couple of years ago. But see, here in Atlanta, we're seeing where there's more of a shift to a balanced market is really what we're looking at.
And typically a balanced market is when the homes have been in inventory for 6 months, but that's not the case now, just because the interest rate and the affordability.
Well, it's where the number of buyers and the number of sellers is kind of even.
It just depends on also the price point, because at a higher price point, it's more buyer demand than it is seller demand.
Yeah.
But absolutely, first time home buyer, right now, we're pretty even. It just depends on the home, whether or not
it's highly divided on price point, right?
Correct.
We're seeing where we have a lot more inventory in higher end properties, but if you're looking for anything under 200,000, it's still a seller's market hardcore.
Oh, absolutely.
So, overall, kind of one thing that we're definitely looking at right now is we've seen our total inventory shift up here in Georgia. Inventory since over this year versus last year is up over 50%. So the total inventory is definitely a big deal. It's up significantly. However, doesn't mean that we're up from where we really used to be. If you look at where we were pre-COVID, 2019, 2020, that kind of stuff, we're still down about 25%. That's really significant that we're still down that much. So we had been seeing some nice headway moving into, as far as like inventory improving. New inventory is ticking down right now, though,
Absolutely.
And some of that is historical trends. It's just normal for this time of year, but still, it's really, really a big deal. We're seeing overall, right now here in Georgia, we're at about 38,000 listings in 2024.
But prior to that, before pandemic, we have about 51, almost 52,000.
Pre-pandemic, we had well over 50,000 active listings. Now, during COVID and all that kind of stuff, it was crazy low. 25, 30,000 listings?
A lot of people were very hesitant unless they have to move. But, some folks was incentivized because the value of their home shot up because the interest rate was so low. Everybody can afford at that price level. Yeah. And that's what I consider artificially driven the price of the homes.
So I guess where we're kind of going back with all this was we showed where inventory has been increasing, but it's not going crazy, and it's still not up to where it was pre-pandemic. What we are seeing is this rise in inventory, as well as interest rates have come down, but the buyers have not jumped in the market hot and heavy all the way yet. So we're seeing where price gains are normal. Right? That 2 to 4% range is kind of a great place for us to kind of be right now. So we are still seeing positive value appreciation. We're just not seeing it kind of doing the double digit stuff, the stuff that really made it kind of not sustainable and all that kind of thing.
So guess what? Out of all the migration out of Florida, guess where's the number one destination?
See, a lot of people move to Florida because they want to get, it's all the snowbirds, kind of stuff. But then they get to Florida and they're like, oh, crap, it's hot. They got alligators, they got hurricanes. And then guess where they move?
Georgia.
They moved to us. Right. So still, the number one destination where people come to Georgia from is New York. But the number one destination where people from Florida move to is to us. So we get more people from New York, but more people leave Florida and go to Georgia than any other state. So just, another good sign for us, and puts us in a good, safe place that we just kind of want you to kind of know what's going on. We want to change gears and talk a little bit about what's kind of going on with condo and HOA fees, and understand that, right now we're seeing an uptick across the nation. Unfortunately, Atlanta comes in on like the 6th highest cost on condo and HOA dues in the nation as far as like increases over last year. We're up somewhere in the 8 to 9% range up, which is much higher than most cities and towns. And some people will talk about, well, that's why you shouldn't buy. See, that's the wrong mindset, right? Because everyone's still playing from the same level playing field. It's not like, well, if you buy this condo or if you're going to buy this HOA, you're going to pay more than everybody else. Everyone in there is paying the same amount.
Just remember, the HOA reflects the neighborhood. So the higher the HOA in a neighborhood, the more I guess, purchase price that home is going to be.
Yeah.
And it's also has a lot more curb appeal, a lot more amenities, or concierge services. Just depends on where you go.
It is. I mean, we definitely have a love-hate relationship with HOAs and
But
condo
once again,
fees.
you go in there for the amenities and also the services and the overall curb appeal for the neighborhood.
We see that the better the condo association, the better the HOA is, the more protected property values are. I mean, it just is really the same.
That's the
same
reason
thing
behind
that we
HOA
see going on. And then National Association of Home Builders has released their median price per square foot averages kind of thing. And so this doesn't really come as a shock to most people in the industry, but a lot of times we have people who tell us, gosh, I want a small home. And then they find out that small home, as far as like cost per square foot,
is a lot more.
I mean, like a 5,000 square foot home runs around $130 a foot, whereas under a 1,200 square foot home,
it's $200 per square foot.
$200 a square foot. So it's a big difference. And, this is one of those things we just kind of want to have a brief discussion about, because it is one of those things we hear so many clients tell us, look, I want a ranch. I mean, we moved into a ranch and we love our ranch, but our ranch cost us more money per foot. And that's really what you're going to see. We hear all the time, like, I just want a little house. And then they get there and they're like, well, gosh, for this,
it's so small, I can't change my mind.
Not only that, but like I could get a lot more house for my money.
Right.
And so that's why we hear a lot of folks talk about a ranch, talk about a smaller home, and then actually they're like, well, if we go up, it's much cheaper to build up vertically on homes and those kind of things. So it's just something to make sure that you are having a conversation with your clients about, because it does really change, because a lot of folks say they want to, but it just doesn't work out in reality.
So for those of who are NAR realtors friends, I just want you to know your cycle for Code of Ethics ends at this December 31st. So if you have not taken one since January 1st, 2022 to the end of this year, you better get on with it, because if you don't, you will lose your realtor privileges.
All realtors have to have Code of Ethics every 3 years. And then starting next year, you're also going to have fair housing every 2 years.
Which is great.
I mean, we're not upset about it. Now, that's completely different and separate from the Georgia requirements, which is 36 hours every 4 years. 3 has to be a licensed law.
Correct.
And then we're looking at some new rules coming for brokers soon, which I don't know.
Which I'm really excited about.
We're glad to see that.
Yeah.
But the big thing here is, like, if you don't have your Code of Ethics in by the end of the year, you're going to lose your realtor membership. And please don't. We're holding a bunch of Code of Ethics classes. Please, you can go to mx1training.com. You can see all the upcoming classes that we have coming out.
And check out our calendar.
See all the stuff that we have coming out. Join us for any of our CE classes, our sales meetings, the whole 9 yards there. So we hope you guys have a great week. If we can be any service, please call, text, smoke signals. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and happy Monday.